So first things first, Nash.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing great today, man. I just played my first European festival, so first show on this side of the Atlantic.
What were you expecting? What were your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of footage from like video footage from overseas for concerts and stuff, but I was definitely expecting less people to vibe with like all of my stuff because I know that like like music trends tend to be a bit more like bass heavy and dance based for stuff that people like at festivals. So it was really dope, and thank you so much to Europe for just like liking all my stuff and vibing out with me and like hanging. It was really cool. I got to go right after the ribbon cutting ceremony, so that was cool.
Okay, and so are you? Is this the start of the tour? And are you going?
Yeah, I'm just doing 5 shows. I'm doing. I did Lowlands today. I do Pukkelpop tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I've got my own headliner in London at the Hoxton Square Bar and Grill. And then I've got Reading and Leeds, which are 2 more festivals after that.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I head back to La La.
Okay. Well, before we go into the music, I'd
Yeah.
like to go to the beginning. And well, obviously you have an affection for music, but also for words. Which came first?
Words for sure. Yeah. So my mom and my dad used to read me bedtime stories like every night, and my dad to a point of like if it was like Winnie the Pooh or Mickey Mouse, he would do all the voices.
Okay.
So I really at a very young, and my mom was working in TV at the time and film, and so she would always have scripts. So and she would be reading through things to either like pitch them or whatever. So I understand a lot of words on a level that like I understood a lot of words on a level that kids didn't really at that age. Like I would always clock in at whatever the highest reading level was that I could. So in kindergarten I was a 5th grade reading level. Okay. I got to 6th grade and I was a 12th grade reading level already. So like I would always pick books from like the older kids section. So yeah, words definitely, like my affinity for words definitely came first, yeah.
If you go back to that time, what was one of your favorite stories, or maybe a book that you picked out?
Oh God, there's this one story by I think her name's Paddocks or something like that. It was a series of stories about children that like lived in like a foster home or something like that. I think it was called like The Lost Children or something like that. I'll look up the name. But that was a really great series. We got real into that one, Hidden or something like that. Paddock sounds right, and so I really loved that one. And then obviously I loved like Series of Unfortunate Events, and I was big on Harry Potter. Okay. And Holes was one of my favorite books ever. So just that stuff that like anything that got turned into a movie, I had like I had movie taste.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start putting your own words onto paper? Did that start early on?
Yeah, no, I mean like the first couple times I would do that was either like in poetry class or just writing essays and stuff like that, but I never really performed super well on essays and things like that. Like I would always get like graded down because I had a more like creative way of going about it.
Right.
And that's why I always have been like grades just reflect like what a teacher thinks of you, but like what you get out of school is totally up to you. So I had like a 3.3, and like most kids graduating from my high school had like 4.0 plus, and we're getting into these amazing high schools colleges, and I just wanted to like be creative and like make fun stuff. So like I started doing music in high school with a couple friends and just learning how to use Logic and like record vocals and stuff like that, and then that progressively like turned into me doing my own indie band with a friend of mine called Bend, and then that turned into like interning for people who taught me more stuff, and in the long run basically like it was about the end of college I started putting covers out and making music.
And in high school, what was the appeal of music? Did you grow up with music as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean the first music that I remember like hearing that I liked was the Looney Tunes renditions of the Beatles. Right. So my mom had that CD in the car, so I got like a really good understanding of Beatles stuff early on, and just classics. And my dad played guitar, so that's when I started learning guitar in about like 5th or 6th grade, 5th grade.
And you say from high school onwards, you get more serious with music, you start making it yourself. When did the point come where you thought that you were good at what you were doing, that you made a decent song?
The first time that happened was when I put out this cover of a song called Coco. Okay. And it was the second thing I put out that I like recorded my voice on. And people were like really liking it to a point like I was getting a lot of SoundCloud plays, like it got like 100,000 really fast, and I'd only had one other cover out. So that's when I kind of knew I had like a sound that people liked that I was creating, which was like very simple. And And so then I was going through this breakup, so I had this idea to do 3 EPs called You, Me, and Us, and I made them over the course of the last year and a half, and they've been like the journey through a breakup and then finding yourself and finding something new. So
is it difficult when you started this whole process? Was it difficult to kind of open up and bare your soul to?
Yeah, no, I mean for me not really, because I know a lot of people it would be. But my dad always taught me that, like, as long as I was down to talk about my feelings, he would listen to them.
Okay.
So if I was feeling sad, instead of like punching a wall, I could just say, Dad, I don't feel great because of this, this, this. And he would always listen, and we'd always work on it together with words instead of with argument or fighting. Like, I've never been like grounded, or like I've never fought with my parents or anything like that. Like, that was never my vibe. I would always just have conversations about how I felt. And I'm lucky that my parents like raised me like that, because I think that kind of catapulted me into using my words so well, being a linguist per se for my dialect, and so like picking cool words and using them in different ways and little references and stuff like that is kind of what I love the most.
Right.
Yeah, I love it when words can be used in multiple ways, like one word like who, or I mean like what's one that's really good like that? There's a couple that are just like you can use them in they are, and yeah, so those things.
You mentioned the song, the track Coco, where you put vocals. Did you know before that you wanted to sing, that you wanted to rap, that you wanted your voice?
Yeah, I mean, I was always like I was always putting my voice on things as demos for people, and like writing stuff for other people, because I never really like trusted my voice as a rapper. I always thought people would write me off as like a white rapper. Right. So that's why I kind of entered via like kind of singing instead. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but why did you think that people would kind of dismiss what you were doing?
Because it was kind of a trend at the time to like be a white rapper and like like rap over like indie samples and stuff like that. And especially like in the wake of like 10 years after Eminem was hot, it was kind of like this thing. And now like the people who have rose to the top obviously like are not in that world anymore, and I don't think that's really even like a category of music anymore, because I think that music has gone beyond that. I think music is the forefront of like what's leading, like appreciating the differences about people. And so like you have people like G-Eazy killing it, or even like Hoodie Allen killing it, who's here at this festival. Like there's so many people that came out of that world of just like frat rap that have now gone fully like pop, and I think that that's so cool. I just never wanted to start there. I wanted to go like straight into singing, so that's kind of how I started. And then I kind of backwards went into rap, but almost like in a accidental way.
But well, you say accidental, but well, you describe yourself as a lyricist, and so was that kind of inevitable because you have that affinity with words?
Yeah, I think that like sometimes I had so many words to say that I just couldn't find a melody for them. So then I would have to rap them. And I wrote pretty much everything as a rap out the gate. So like Little Tokyo Disposable, which was like the first song original that I put out, that was a rap, and then I sang it for the final. Just different things like that. I always write them out first as raps, and then I kind of either choose to add melodies, or when I really want something to drive home, I rap it usually. But I still kind of do it fun. I always keep like a little lightness to it, you know?